Hello, everyone, and welcome to Plus 10 Melanin. I am the Grim Phreaker, and
I am Krystle Killjoy.
so we are having a very, very exciting week in gaming. It's been kind of up and down, but tell me a little about what you've been playing lately.
The same old games because I build up my little game hut with the same games and I play them for like 6 months. So Fallout, and Stardew Valley, of course. I got a little further in Unravel. I was streaming Unravel the other day, and just, playing around. Had a couple people in my room, chilling. So I'm playing that. And Mito or is it Mitomo? Yeah,
Mitomo? Oh,
Mitomo.
did you download that?
Yes, I've been morbidly obsessed with it. I may or may not be playing it right now. I'm not going to specify.
Now, I've been
But
seeing people put pictures of their little me's.
it's addicting. Like, it's kind of upsetting. I'm like, wow, I thought this was going to be something that was going to hold my attention for, maybe like an hour, and I've just been like checking it like every 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, why?
So what is it like? What is it like? Like, I don't know.
It's.
It seems like a
Have
pet.
you ever played Tomodachi Life?
Yes.
It's pretty much that, but on the phone. But it centers around, like, instead of having a town, like, it just centers around interaction. So it like asks you questions and has you, answer a comment on other people's questions and stuff like that. And that gives you points, and then you can buy clothes and accessories.
Wow.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's addicting. It's kind of upsetting, but you'll see. You should take the plunge.
I think I am because I've been seeing it all down my timeline. Mitomo, Mitomo. And here I am thinking that it wasn't going to be all that. Because, like Japan and America, I mean, they distribute their game titles based on country. Like, oh, if they think it'll fly over there anyway. But I was thinking, oh, this is weird for Japan. It probably won't catch on over here in America. And I was wrong. Like, I had Mitomo all in my timeline today. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna have me for a while. I'm okay with that though.
Hmm. It's not so bad. I mean, I guess. I'll try it tomorrow.
Yeah, yep. Let me know. I'm curious.
So, what do you connect your friends with? Like Facebook? Kind of like the regular stuff?
You can do Facebook. You can add them with their Nintendo ID,
Right.
or you can do QR code, I think, or you can do an in person. Like it does. I think it uses Bluetooth or something, and it's like touch the same symbol as your friend, and then you do that, and it's like yay, and it adds the person. I'm like, okay, cool.
Hmm. That sounds
It's
pretty
pretty
cool.
neat.
I may download it. I may or may not be on Google Play looking at it and about to
Yeah, you're
download
gonna do
it.
it. Yeah, you're gonna do it.
Yeah. So this week for me, I didn't play. I mean, I played the Division, but there's nothing really like new going on here because
Right.
a friend of mine and I were talking about how how some before you go into like these missions and they have you like match make with random characters all over the world and stuff, people
Right.
playing and stuff, but the matchmaking seems to be really like a horror story on the Division because we have people that have very low armor, or weapons, or you know, I don't know. They keep losing and dying. Like I wish they would match you up according to stats. Like how
Right.
much this person time because this person is obviously either a novice or they just really shitty at shooters.
Hmm.
But
So it
yeah,
just kind of throws you together and makes it frustrating.
yeah, and you just like I got so annoyed because I had to revive somebody maybe like no exaggeration 10 to 13 times. Like it was yeah, it was really bad and it slows everybody up. So, it's just like, damn, I wish they would match make better because it seems a bit much. Also, I think what they were trying to do was like the way that the division is divided up the areas, they're kind of like um let's say I don't know, Gramercy or the West Village is for levels 19 through 25 or 26.
Mm.
And they'll match make you, but I'll be like the only level 26 with a bunch of level 19s. And it doesn't really like level out the right way because they throw different level enemies at you during the mission. So I've been trying to do everything by
Huh.
myself.
Somebody didn't get that algorithm right for matching. Someone screwed up.
Yeah, someone
That's pretty
screwed up.
bad.
But of course, they'll come up with something and they'll be like, there is a patch. And the division has had several patches so far. Not I don't think it's like excuse me, more so for bugs. I mean, there were some bugs, but I think it had to do with just like making it more of a better experience besides bugs. Well, I don't know
Which is
what they're
good.
doing. Yeah. So, they've had other things and there were weird bugs going on. So, I've been
Yeah.
playing that, and then after I left that, I decided to download, after much prodding from my friends, the platinum demo for Final Fantasy 15.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's been all the talk in my office.
yeah. It has every right to be because I first of all, we all know to expect that Square Enix they're going to give you the best possible graphics. In fact, they've been noted to, I guess, go a little far on it because it looks like super cinematic, and then they totally forget about the story. But that's another thing.
Yeah.
So, so I'm playing it last night, and it took a little bit for me to get used to the combat aspect of it, and it was cute. I got I got a little tiny bit of Kingdom Hearts tea in it. I got like a little
Mm.
hint of it, but it was still like its own unique aspect. And then when we got to the boss, I was just like, what the hell is this? This is like the technology that we have today makes me think back to when you have those retro games and it seems like the boss and the protagonist is like the same size, but now that we have technology you can really like bump up and make things really scary for the player. So this monster is like this huge titan or whatever. I'm playing it. I played it through. I kicked his ass twice by mistake. And
Huh.
yeah, it's when you if you decide that you want to play it and you want to just like download it. I don't know if they have it for PC or not, but um you should try out the demo and see if you like it because I really liked it. I really did.
Huh. I'm checking to see if it's for PC now, but that's good. I don't know. I've been like divided on Final Fantasy stuff because I'm just like, hey, nice graphics. Is the story even gonna, remotely pull me in? But I guess, it's not like I'll be able to tell until it comes out, or unless I play the demo and I'm like, this is really interesting.
Yeah, I get like I wish I had more of the story to go on because it's a relatively short demo,
Right.
especially for an RPG. And I was just like, you know what? I really love that they brought in some things for you to question as the game begins to get more hype around its release date. And I was just like, I wanted more. I wanted more, and it was mostly because I just wanted to find out what's going on behind the story behind this car. He's what happened to his dad or whatever. But I
Yeah.
played the demo through twice because I was just like, you know what? There were some things that I wasn't very excited about when it came to the boss battle. And I said, you know what? I'm going to play it through. I'm going to interact with everything that I can because, again, technology makes it a more enriching experience
Right.
for the player, so you get to go places that you never thought. So I'm climbing things. They had like this kind of like Alice in Wonderland ish section where you were smaller than everything was huge, and I went through that, and then there was this weird like hybrid monster I became, which was odd as fuck. And this titan, I said, you know what, now that I know more about the game and I familiarized myself with the buttons, let me see what else I can do. And then it was a whole different type of action. Like, you get close to the monster that I totally missed before. There's this defend, and then like the oh my god, the animations for everything is just completely insane.
Huh.
It's gorgeous. And there's this I think the only problem that I have with it is that I guess maybe some of the notifications during gameplay don't really come out. They don't like pop out at you
Oh, I see.
because the second time I played it around, I pressed it. I just happened to notice it. I pressed the top and the top two buttons for like the L1 R1,
Yeah.
and this whole like ice guardian type thing was like hanging around me. I missed that. So it's a truly beautiful game. I am intrigued. I'm hoping that the story is bomb because the graphics itself is just out of this world.
Yeah, it like I've seen some footage from it and it looks really good. So if they're able to match the quality of the story, the quality of the graphics, it'll be a big hit and it might just get me interested. Just maybe.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the PS4 and the games that I'm sure that will come out on it, like Final Fantasy 15. So here's the thing. I guess Microsoft wanted to ride the tail of the Sony hype with the PlayStation 4. I guess you call it 4K or PS 4.5.
Yeah.
So they decided to release a statement, and they were like, "Don't expect Xbox One and a half." So I guess somebody asked them. Okay, it says Microsoft's Build 2016 developer they had like a developer keynote that Phil Spencer, that's the Xbox head, he was talking to press, and he was like, he just feels like Xbox should move on. They should keep it the same. Xbox One should keep it the same, how it is now, and then I guess they'll save the 4.5. I mean, not 4.5. Oh my God, I'm like off it. 4.5 Xbox One and a half. I guess that will be.
I guess that would be what you call it.
I guess. I don't like what new name could you possibly put with that? I mean, you've named it Xbox One, so.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's weird. For us, Xbox is doing well. It performs reliable. The servings are doing well. If we're going to go forward with anything, like I said, I want it to be a really substantial change for people, an upgrade. Whatever. I mean,
I agree. I don't know. Like, nothing provoked that statement, and I feel like if they had no plans to release a Xbox One point whatever, then they just should have not said anything. Like, to tell your fans, like, hey, by the way, don't expect this. I don't know. It's weird because I don't feel like Xbox needs that. Like, I don't feel like they're in a position where they need to release a competitor right now. Like, it's a mid-range. I don't know. It's a mid-range system, and I don't know how I feel about the whole PS 4.5 to begin with. Because it's cool, it's definitely cool, but I'm like, is it really just a cash grab? Like, is whatever benefits you're going to get graphically, performance-wise, and otherwise, is it really going to be worth it upgrading to, a whole different console? So I don't really feel like the PS 4.5 is enough of a thing for Microsoft or anybody there to, feel like they have to release some statement that nobody asked for. But aside from that, I do get the sentiment. Who knows what they're doing behind the scenes for the next generation Xbox or what other things they're going to be releasing. So I'm not really that concerned about the fact that they're not releasing an Xbox One and a half. Like, I don't know. That's just me. I really don't care.
Yeah, I really didn't care that much about the PS 4.5 because I think in order to have 4K, I think you have to have a 4K TV.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's going to be strictly 4K or 4K capable. I actually didn't look to see, like, what the specifics were, but, even so, it's like, yeah, the whole point of buying it, whether it's strictly 4K or 4K enabled, is to get the 4K capability. So either you're going to have to already have spent the money, or you're going to have to plan for this big purchase in the future to be able to use it, and it's just like,
Yeah, I don't know about that. That just seems like double money because, like, I think people in general do not read through things. So they see 4K or PlayStation 4.5, and and they think, well, it'll make the experience better on your TV, but you actually need a new TV in order to enjoy the new PlayStation 4K. Who knows?
Yeah. Just like,
Krystle, move your mic back just a wee bit.
oh, from my face? Hey. I was like, move it back from where? I'm smart. Super smart, guys. Super smart.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't think anybody. I don't know, like, but why? I don't even know. I don't even know why the PS4K is coming out. I mean, I don't see a need for it now. Is our 4K TVs on the rise or something?
I mean, they are, but I don't think that we really need to be like releasing something for it. Like, it just prioritize that in the next generation. I don't think they're, and I could be wrong, but I don't think they're as common in households or common enough to warrant a mid-generation re-release with 4K capabilities. And like I said, maybe I'm wrong. I don't have a 4K TV. One of my friends has one, but he's like a super like home theater, home media nerd, so I just thought it was just him being like, oh my god, 4K. It could be a big thing right now, and I've just been living under a rock like I typically do. Who knows?
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with my TV. I don't need that extra
right.
bit. Like, I'm not gonna force myself with that, but whatever.
Yep.
More Sony news. This is another reason for you to get a PS4. So, the newest update on the PlayStation 4 is the ability to do remote play. And with remote play, you are able to play your PlayStation games on your PC. Like your laptop.
Neato.
Yeah. I'm pretty psyched about it. And this is the dream. I live in a studio apartment, so it's not like I have to have a TV a computer everywhere so I can go and do this. But my most use that will happen out of this is me being in the bathtub, and I can just put the laptop.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right there, and then I can play it.
You would.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great idea. I'm hoping that nobody gets silly with this, and I don't know, try and play their games somewhere like while they are driving or something weird like that. I don't know. People are just weird. So, yeah, it's called the PlayStation 4 System Update 3.5. It is for PC and Mac. So all of us.
Ooh, Mac gets some love.
Yeah, Mac definitely gets some love. Unfortunately for Linux computers, there's no program for that yet.
Somebody will jerry-rig it and figure it out.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Basically. And then you just, you set up your PS4. It's pretty easy. It's maybe like 5 steps for you to get everything done. 4 or 5 steps. So.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it doesn't look too difficult. But I imagine it can't be because people aren't going to bother with that if it's like so much effort to set up. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. That is a good plus.
Yeah. I think that's cool because, like, even if I lived in, let's say, a house or something, and I don't have a setup, I only have it set up in my my living room, I can just, play wherever I want. I can play in the attic where I don't want people to bother me. That'd be great.
I can play in my fallout shelter just in case.
Right. You know what? Actually, let's go ahead with that. You can talk about it because I know that's your thing.
Oh my god. So I feel like there's so much going on with Fallout right now. Like, maybe not so much, but I mean, every time it's okay. So there's Automatron, and there's whatever this Wasteland Workshop DLC that's coming out, and then there's the Seasons Pass, which I think gives you eligibility to both. But the Wasteland Workshop is coming out, and I'm gonna nerd out about that very briefly and not get obsessed with it. Well, that and Far Harbor. So, okay, there's so many things going on, and to be honest, I haven't even really kept up with what's going on as far as Far Harbor. However, I was more excited for the Wasteland Workshop if, people couldn't tell from my morbid obsession with the settlement quests and building up my settlements. This is basically going to allow you to do crazy stuff like trap a death claw or make a cat trap and trap a kitty and have a mirelurk that, attacks people and build traps with like spikes and spinning blades and razors and all kinds of things in your home, which is, more so like a bunker. There's more options for rigging up electrical things, doing the light panels, and there's just all kinds of stuff that you can do. And I already know I'm going to spend at least like 50 hours doing this. And then Far Harbor is exploring a, different part of Boston. It's piggybacking off of a Valentine's detective agency in Diamond City. So it sends you to the island of Far Harbor. It's a more feral world, and there's all kinds of conflicts. Children of Adam, you're going to see the Children of Adam there, which they were, my crazy favorites from Fallout 3. And there's just a lot of stuff. And I feel like it's going to be worth the price. In my experience, Bethesda tends to release a massive amount of content. And I've always gotten my money's worth. I haven't been dissatisfied with anything I've gotten thus far. So people should check that out. There's something else about Fallout, but I don't know. Should I save that to the end or should I tell them now?
Um,
I don't know.
Tell it? Yeah,
I
sure.
don't know.
I want to know.
I'll tell them now. Okay. All right. So, some people play vanilla, of course, and some people play modded. I'm kind of like half and half. So there's an awesome new mod that's out for Fallout 4, and it allows you to have Notorious B.I.G. as a companion. And I'm like, what? How do you... What? I'm like, first of all, this is so random, but I like it a lot. And of course, he looks... Actually, he's not a companion. He is, he replaces the mysterious stranger. So instead of having the actual mysterious stranger pop up when you put points into that, you get him in all of his glory, in his suit, just, taking people out, just pew, pew, and then he's gone. And of course, you only see the mysterious stranger like once every couple kills or battles or whatever, depending on how much you put into it. But... it's super exciting, and I can already see myself when I finally do my obnoxious playthrough, which is going to be me just using a whole bunch of ridiculous mods. That is absolutely going to be one of the ones on the list, and it's going to be fantastic.
Wow. Again, more reason now. I'm trying to see, should I get Fallout 4 on my PC? No, I'm going to, but
PC. Mods, it's so much easier and better and everything.
I do want Biggie to show up.
Biggie will show up.
Yeah.
He'll save you.
Yeah. I'm liking that. I am liking that. I thought that was funny, Like, it was so freaking random. Like, really? Biggie? I guess whoever made it must be, like,
Smart.
A real big fan.
Smart.
Yeah, definitely. So... I don't know if you're into Mass Effect like I'm in Mass Effect.
Not really, but go on.
Wow, that's 2 strikes. I think... When was the last time? Was it a movie? It was like, that's like 2 strikes. How do you... You know what? I'm not gonna...
I have them all, to be fair. I have them. I just haven't gotten around to them because Steam sales, I don't buy games, in normal amounts like normal people. I buy them in 5s and 10s because Steam sales.
Right.
So it's not my fault. I have Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. So cut me some slack, bro.
All right, I'll cut you some slack only because I didn't play Mass Effect 3. So
see,
I was scared. I heard everybody hated it, so I was scared.
Oh my god!
All right, so Mass Effect Andromeda. That's the new. That's a new part of the story that's coming out in 2017. The big hubbub around this right now is apparently somebody took footage from like a video reel,
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, and it's showing some gameplay of the, I guess, the character on Jetpack. It looks like you're the person in the jetpack. I guess whoever's playing it, it could be, I
Looks
don't
like a
know.
third person, maybe.
Yeah, so
It's-
they posted it on NeoGAF. That's like really, a really old video game forum. I won't even get into how long it's been since I've been on a forum. Maybe like when I was a freshman in college or something. But
Right? It's been a bit.
yeah, NeoGAF is a very old video game forum where, developers usually post things, or people post, I guess, confidential files of whatever developer is going
Dun,
on
dun,
right
dun.
now. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get the cream of the crop on gossip, video game gossip, if there's such a thing, you go to NeoGAF. So they took it down. They had to take it down, and I guess whoever had fast fingers, they downloaded it and then they made
Of course.
some gifs of it and re-uploaded it.
Womp. The internet acts fast. I don't know why people just keep doubting this.
Yeah, so we'll see what
I don't know. It's
happens.
something to get people talking. It might have been on purpose. Who knows? I feel like that's a strategic move. Like, hey, oops, this wasn't supposed to be posted. Huh? Wink.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah,
I do it.
so it's it. I don't know if it's really that big of a deal. I mean, it's a jetpack, but I guess they want to make everything keep under wraps and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, who knows if it's that, like the presence of that is implying like a huge change in like the game's dynamics or gameplay or something like that. Like, I'm sure there's gonna be all kinds of theories that spin off from just that like 2 second like repetitive clip, and I'm just gonna read them all and be like, all right, but it's a lot of energy to put into theory, and we just have no idea. But okay, that's cool. Someone's got to do it.
hmm. Oh well. Um, this is just so odd to me. So a couple months back, Square Enix made this announcement for they were going to use lightning from Lightning Returns and Final Fantasy 13 and all those other ones. Final Fantasy 13 too, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, they were using her as like a model for their purses and clothes and stuff. So I mean, I have no idea what she has anything to do with fashion. I guess maybe because her outfits in the game and the armor in the games were pretty gorgeous, but
Right.
um, they made this connection with Louis Vuitton, and then now they've started this. They came together and they were like, you know what, we want to make these jackets called the Prompto line and all these other like clothing that kind of matched everything. All the characters. I don't know where my mind is going right now. All the characters from the boy gang together and want to make it like a video game line, I guess. So they show these
Uh,
yeah, they show these
okay.
outfits. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It just, it's clearly a money grab,
Right.
and
I feel like they don't need to do that though, which confuses me. Maybe I'm missing something.
I don't know what they are trying to do with it. It just seems really odd and out of place.
Right.
So, but the thing that got me was how much the line actually costs. So
Yeah.
I I,
That
I can't do it.
it made me feel. I don't know if insulted is the right word to use, but it's like unless I just have statistics completely wrong, I would say most of the gamer demographic is not filthy rich. Like, okay, you're making a line that, is based off something that a large range of people enjoy, and it's going to be affordable to a very small portion of it. Like, it's. I don't know. It just seems kind of like a slap in the face to your fans. It's like, hey, look at that awesome collab. What? Oh, you don't make like, 300 grand a year? Oh, you're probably not going to be able to afford this. Check out our website though.
Yeah, $259 for a pair of fingerless gloves.
Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, it's you know what I would say. I think I would go as far as to say that it is insulting because, these games are super expensive. I have to pick and choose, and I have to plan out my games that I'm going to buy because who wants to spend more than $70 on these fucking games? So that people feel some kind of way when they're spending $70. Why would you make fingerless gloves for $259 fucking dollars? It just doesn't make any sense.
Seriously, why don't you just make some, like, cheap collaboration with, like, I don't know, some company out there and include, like, a small piece in a collector's edition or something. Like, that's a lot more realistic and tangible for most people. Or just make it, like, okay, $250, I would say maybe for, like, a, like, jacket that's an exact replica of one of the characters or something like that, like a full piece, like outerwear, something you can use all the time. But fingerless gloves, first of all, that's such a useless item. It's pretty much only a style item. Like, there's nowhere else fingerless gloves are going to be relevant. Maybe, I don't know, riding a motorcycle. I don't even know. So that alone, and I know that's just one example, but that example makes me upset because it's like, are you serious?
Mm.
And just, I, you know what? I'm not gonna get up in my feels about it because you know what? I'm just not getting it.
Yeah, that's actually really fine with me. I mean, there's got to be some bomb ass clothes. I'm not really that thirsty to save up money and buy these things, I guess, so I can look like a video game character. That's just, it's really not my thing. Guys, I
Right.
hope that you cosplayers out there, if you got it and you want to spend it, sure, but do not break your neck trying to buy these outfits and, little pieces to complete the outfit. Just, learn yourself another skill. Learn how to sew your own jacket. You can do it. I have seen it happen.
Yep. I mean, hello, cosplayers.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's really funny that they're going to charge an arm and a leg. I'm like, there are people who just make this. Alrighty then.
Yeah, that's pretty odd. Anyway, moving on.
Right.
So, Dark Souls 3 just came out, and some guy has already beaten it in under 2 hours. Yeah.
So obviously, not one for stereotypes or anything in this podcast, but I read it and it was like, yeah, Korean guy. And I was like,
I was not surprised.
oh my god. Yeah, I was like, could you just stop making us look bad for 2 minutes?
Like,
I
even
mean,
when they do stuff that's considered slacker stuff, they still make it look like work, and it's upsetting.
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, they did this and this and this, but it wasn't too good. And I'm like, it would take me 10 years to do that. But let me tell you how I feel about this. And I may be off base because everyone's skill is different, and maybe this is just based on, the skill of me who kind of sort of sucks at games.
Right.
I feel like if someone can speedrun through a brand new game in a little under 2 hours, there wasn't enough content. Well, I don't want to say there wasn't enough content. I want to say, because there are some people who just speedrun just to speedrun.
Right.
So, they're finding the shortest ways to get through everything. I feel like it kind of cheapens the game. Like, when you do it at first. Like, I would play the whole game through and explore everything or whatever. And then, like, a week or two or maybe a month down the line, oh yeah, speedrun. But I mean, I don't know. It just seems so... Like,
It's too soon. Like, the
yeah,
game
it's too
just
soon.
came out. Like, you must have been spending so much time on this. It hasn't even reached America yet. It's supposed to be here next week, and somebody has already beaten it.
Yeah, like, oh, it's like, okay, well, like, I wonder if it's going to give people an impression that maybe there's not that much if someone had done it so quickly, which, I guess that's fair. But yeah, it's like, we're waiting on this. Oh, all right, someone beat it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Another problem that probably will happen is watching somebody do a speed run because it spoils it for you too. The
Yeah.
curiosity is gonna get the best of you. Oh, this looks pretty cool, and then
Yep.
you don't want to buy it. You're kind of like, okay, but I know what happens, so why should I purchase this game?
And that's my other thing. Like for the person who did the speed run, like you know that at first you're not really going to get that many people looking at it because they're not going to want to spoil it. So I mean, whatever. He may not be in a rush, but I don't know. I am divided on like speed runs of new games. I've seen speed runs of old games just for the hell of it. Like I've watched a speed run. I actually did a speed run with my friend of Silent Hill 3. So there's that. But like new games, I'm just like I don't know. That's not where my mind is when a game comes out. I guess I'll put it that way.
Wow. Well, I don't know what to say. And the next story is somebody else who does like unnecessary shit. So
Oh boy.
just doing the goddamn most. So this guy's name is his name is Rudism on YouTube, and they describe him as a Kiwi. So I'm guessing that means that he's Australian. But
Hmm.
he decided to do this challenge. He says that he's going to make it to the level 100 capped in World of Warcraft by using a dance pad.
Impressed.
I am impressed, but I'm still like, why? Like, why put yourself through that? Why do that? I don't get
Maybe
it.
he was trying to get fit at the same time.
You
I
know,
mean, he didn't look like he wasn't. I don't know. Maybe just because
wow.
someone
Well,
might, maybe someone dared him or made a bet, which that would work on me. I would totally do it.
I don't know. I'd already calculate things in my head, but apparently him reaching the level 100 cap was super emotional
I
for
know, it was
him.
cute.
I bet that all that hard work and it finally happened. I don't know.
It's probably something he may not like. I find a lot of times like people will start that and they'll do it and they don't actually expect it to get off the ground and go anywhere. And then so once they reach the end of it, they're like, "Wow, I like it's emotional because it maybe they hadn't even planned to make it that far. Or they didn't count on it." Which I get that. That is exciting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. He did this all in a month, and of course his Twitch followership, Lord, has more than tripled. Of course, that's to be expected because it's a great feat. So, congratulations to Rudeism. You are probably the most exciting piece of
That's
news
creative. That's
for any of
super
us.
creative. Like I seriously, hands down, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And people doing cool things. There seems to be so much like really good Sony news lately. Um, this is kind of related to Sony, but not Sony themselves. So this there it was a kid. He wrote in to talk about his experience with PlayStation 4's DualShock touchpad, and it was interfering with his gaming experience since he has cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his name is, let me see, I miss his name. Let me see. So, is why I find this game. Can you find the name for me? For some reason, I can't see it.
Let's see.
But
What is the name of this amazing individual? Let's
yeah, because
see.
like all this small writing and going back and forth, I got like a new gaming mouse, and it keeps making it smaller and bigger.
Fun. Peter Byrne of South Amboy, New Jersey, is the individual who had cerebral palsy.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's the one. Ah,
Yep.
there you go. Okay, so Burns says he was contacted by a Sony employee named Alex Nawabi who did not comment or appear on
There we
camera. Yeah, there he goes. So he wanted to hide himself for whatever reason, just want to keep privacy. So he put in about 2 hours of work on a custom controller that arrived earlier this week at Burns' house. And he put a second button that was kind of out of the way from where Byrne can reach with his hands,
Hmm.
and he rerouted the touchpad's functions to it. So now he can play and enjoy his games without, feeling like he just keeps missing everything. I thought that was just really cool.
It's super awesome.
Yeah, it's
'Cause I feel
just
like they get left out like a lot, like people with disabilities or people who, just don't have, able-bodied functions to where everything is catered to them. Like they miss out on a lot, and I like seeing people reach out and make a difference for them. We should be
yeah.
doing that.
That's actually really impressive because, I mean, other than the rewiring, all it took is for someone to say, hey, you know what, let's just make an extra button right here. We can give it a different design so that everybody can play for it. It seems like something so small, but it makes a difference
It really
in
does.
people's lives. There are, because we are two, I guess, able-bodied people. We don't have to think about things like that unless we know somebody or we hear about stories like this. So
Right.
I think that's
I
that's
squeed when I read it. I was like, tee hee, it's awesome.
yeah, that was really thoughtful. They have a good heart. They didn't have to do that, but yeah. So the Doom open beta and DLC has finally been announced. The
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about it. I think I had a bit of doubts because I don't know, I was letting like my nostalgia take over. But this open beta will allow all of us to see if we actually want to spend the money. It's a big downfall when you have a huge name like Doom that's been out since forever, and
Yeah.
now we have this platform, and it looks promising. The beta will run from April 15th to the 18th, and it does not require a code to join. So it's going to be multiplayer focused, of course, and they'll have team death match and warpath modes. So
Ooh.
yeah, so that's going to be happen. As for DLC, there's going to be it says a paid 3 paid packs of DLC. So they'll have new maps, new season, new playable demon, new armor sets, a piece of equipment, hack modules, and other customizations. And you can also get a season pass for like $39.99. So
Fancy.
yeah, so we'll see what happens on that. I mean, again, we just talked about the $70 for the game. I don't know if I want to jump. I'm a little scared because I hold Doom on such a high pedestal. So
Right. That's tough. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna like snipe people's footage and see what I can see.
yeah, I think that's the best move nowadays. I mean, it's Bethesda.
Right.
I expect high quality from them, but at the same
But it's like,
time,
can they harness the genre? Because Bethesda's high quality, but they're mostly known for high quality in a certain genre. So sometimes,
right.
like, I have doubts. I'm like, are they going to be able to, branch out and actually make a good, insert different genre here game?
Yeah, we'll see. Again, it's just another we'll see what happens, but it does come out in May. So that's going to be a birthday present for myself. Hopefully it will be fantastic. We'll see.
Ooh.
The beta, I'm definitely going to jump in on the beta, maybe do some gameplay review of it.
I will be waiting.
So, all right. I'm going to preface this with a trigger warning because I know some things hurt people, like when they hear them, and it makes their day get a little bad. It dampens their day. But so there's this expansion for the game Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate. Have you ever played that? Because I've never played that before.
I feel like someone had me play it, but I have not like sat down and played it myself.
Okay, yeah, I've seen some gameplay of it, but I just never really got into it. Just one of those games that kind of just never appealed to me. But the expansion set is called Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear, and it has been out for only a few days, actually. And the game itself has taken this whole new the reviews, excuse me, the reviews on Steam for the game has taken a whole new level of low for me. So they have a character in the game, and let me see, her name I think is Misra. I don't know how to, Miss Hina. There you go. Her name is Miss Hina. And that she was the main issue with why it had taken a mixed kind of beating, but a heavy beating on the page, a Steam page for Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear. They had a problem with her because she's a transgender person. Now, there's levels to this. There's levels to this, mind you. So we know that this podcast is based on the way that POC are left out in the geek world, but more specifically, the gaming world.
Right.
A lot of times we only focus on, this is in general, not just us, but we focus on things that are very cis-centered.
Right.
But there are POC that obviously identify as trans.
Right.
This diversity issue that we're having is affecting the POC and LGBT community in general. Other than a few bugs here and there that people were complaining about, the thing that was a constant in these reviews is
character.
I'm feeling like diversity is being shoved down my throat. I do not want gender politics in my video games. You guys
Facepalm.
Online have debates about imaginary characters, their stories, and the politics between who this dark elf and this blood elf, and this night elf or whatever, and the politics between the communities, but you cannot fathom a world where there are trans people and they have trans problems in that fantasy world. Like,
right. It's like, I feel like every time I comment on something like this, I have to keep myself from going into a long rant. It's amazing how the most represented people feel like they're having something shoved down their throat by having someone else's representation just incrementally increased. Like, it's so amazing how much crying you hear about it. Like, the existence of other people is shoving it down my throat. I'm like, so what's considered not shoving diversity down your throat? People not existing? Because that's the implication that I'm getting from a lot of these complaints. And just, I don't understand how they take themselves seriously like that. Like, the world is diverse, and most of the people who are making these complaints are actually in the minority. It's, Gamergate or whoever it is, it's like 99.8% white men. But the world is highly populated with lots of other people. They're probably one of the smaller demographics. So to expect, like, not even to expect to be, the most represented group in gaming, but to be offended or feel attacked by somebody else, just being there. One character, just one. Just one. It blows my mind. I don't understand. I don't even know if I were arguing with someone like that, where to start, dismantling their argument. Just, what? How did you reach that point? How did you look at this character and feel like a victim?
It's super insulting because they are saying all over these reviews, this is SJW stuff, and for those of you that don't know, SJW stands for Social Justice Warrior. And I don't get it. It's just a character. You would think that people would just accept that, you know, these people exist in real life, and therefore there's no reason why they should exist in video games. Like, it's it's not a political agenda. These are real people. These are their lives you're talking about, and talking about them like inanimate objects, like their opinions. There's no opinion to be had. They just exist, and they deserve representation too. So it's like,
You know what I think it is? These are the same types of people that feel like movements towards justice in real life are some kind of, bane to their existence. So just like we all, use different things for escapism, they use video games for escapism. And God forbid they can't escape from the reality that is there are people who are different than you that exist. And they want to run away to a fantasy world, like I've mentioned before. Their fantasy world doesn't consist of any diversity. Their fantasy world has no people of color, no LGBT color, and all of the women in there are sexualized and exist for them to look at. That's their fantasy. And so they feel like their fantasy world and their hobby and their getaway and their escapism is being threatened by the fact that other people are a part of it. Other people who aren't like them specifically. And I can't stress enough when you phrase it like that how incredibly fucked up that is.
yeah, it's just people really piss me off with this. Now, there were some people that genuinely had a problem with the story. They were like, oh, it could have been written a little bit better. One person who is transgender wrote in, and they basically expressed that, as a trans person, I would not, as a character, walk up to somebody and say, hey, my name is Miss Hina, I am trans.
Right.
Yeah, so they had some natural dialogue issues when it comes to some people on the internet, but most of them, and they really read, no shade, but no shade, but they read off as men. Like, even their screen names are very, I guess, male centered, and or you would expect a male to have that name.
Right.
But it seems like they are the ones that have the problem with the character. And
Aren't they the ones that always have the problem with any kind of diversity in any other situation? Like, it's always them. Not always, but you know what I mean. Like, they're the loudest voices.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, does this threaten your masculinity in some way? Like, what exactly is taking from your experience to hear about other types of lifestyles? How is that hurting your game? How is that SJW stuff? How does that dampen your parade? I don't
because
get it.
me, and pay attention to me. That's
Yeah, it's just yeah, whatever. People are not making any sense. Like, let it go. Is it a great story? Like, how's the gameplay? What?
How's the combat? How's everything?
Yeah.
Like,
What?
the things that matter?
Yeah, the problem you have is that's your major issue. Okay, whatever. Okay. And you
Right,
think,
buddy.
yeah, you would think that we would get used to this by now, but every time I hear something like that, it's shocking at first, and then I have to shake my head. It's immature, it's selfish, and
These are grown men, these aren't 13-year-old kids who have a very limited understanding of the world around them or just parroting what they've been raised with. These are grown people who have access to correct their prejudices, all the information available at their fingertips. Yet they're sitting there on a computer, and instead of, doing a little bit of research, they're using that time to complain about, being attacked by diversity. All right.
fuck these people.
Seriously.
Yeah, speaking of men complaining about everything and then being super hypocritical. So I came across this article. You know what? Shout out to Brad for sharing this article with me. It's a very, very disturbing article. So if you are sensitive to abuse, sexual assault, you may want to turn off or fast forward. Just letting you guys know. The article is called "Tabletop Gaming Has a White Male Terrorism Problem."
Yep.
Upon reading that, I knew everything that would go on in this article because I have lived it.
Tell us.
Tabletop gaming, for those of you that are not familiar with it, I don't know if you guys have played, if you're the type of family that did like the board games and stuff like that, that's considered tabletop gaming. But the more popular forms of tabletop gaming usually involves card games and Dungeons and Dragons. So the writer of this blog post, she doesn't have her name on there, and I don't blame
Right.
her. But the article talks about how basically, she's a gamer. She is the quintessential geek, but she reveals all the sexist and racist bullshit that she has come across in the geek world, in the gaming world, in tabletop gaming. I will be the first one to say that when I first started, indulging myself in tabletop gaming, I thought that perhaps I may not get as much of a shock from tabletop gamers instead of video gamers when I walk into the room. It seemed to be very inclusive, or so I thought at the time.
Right.
And I said to myself, yes, I really want to get into this. And the first thing that I wanted to look at was Warhammer. And I went to this store called Games Workshop in the city. When I walked inside, all the heads turned. So I was just like, okay, this is weird.
Here we go.
I'm looking on the shelves. I'm waiting for somebody to come over. They take forever to come over. And then they ask me, are you looking to buy this for your boyfriend? And I was like, oh.
Boy, one of those.
Okay. So I said, you know what? Excuse me. Have a good day. I'm good. I walked into another one because they had two shops down the block. And this guy was like literally leaning on me. It's like, do you need any help? With
God.
anything? And it was like all the guys, I wore shorts and the guys were like staring at me, and I never ever,
a woman creature.
Yeah, I never went to a tabletop gaming event. It just like, it completely turned me off because I just figured it was just another all boys clubs like video gaming, but at least, video games I can hide behind a TV screen or something.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about anybody physically touching me. So the writer talks about how the very first time she stepped inside of a game store. I'm going to read this verbatim. How old are you? Asked the balding middle-aged man behind the counter. 13. He says, old enough to bleed, old enough to breed. He chuckles in glee. The Warhammer 40K gamers at the table behind him take up the refrain. Old enough to bleed, old enough to breed. They repeat it, and she runs out the store. Yeah. Another event that happened is that she went to an event called KeyCon. This is one of those gaming conventions. And a friend of hers handed her a Pepsi. She ended up knocked out. She woke up in a hotel bed that wasn't hers. And there was a man that was penetrating her with his fingers. And it was hurting her so bad because she was still drugged, she couldn't speak. Now, she spoke up about the convention. Things, people spoke up about it. But when she wanted to speak to somebody in charge, they responded to her, "This is a safe convention. We have a reputation to protect. If you go to the police, we'll say you were never here." She tries to sober up some more. She calls the police. The police says, "You sound drunk. Were you drinking? I'm not filing a report for some drunken slut." And the officer hung up on her.
But rape culture is not real, right?
Rape culture is not real according to a large percentage of the gaming community, this world in general, but the gaming community, because it seems like because they can't, I guess, do whatever they want in a bigger space to the women that they think they have access to, they take advantage to the women that are around them, and they know that there's mostly men.
Right. Like, oh, we got each other's backs, which, if that's not rape culture, I don't know what is.
And there are so many instances where I can tell you in person, I have tried so many times to do this whole like tabletop thing, where they make you feel like you don't belong there. It is you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you come there and you know your shit, they still question you about it. They question you and your geek cred. If you come in and you don't know and you want to learn, you're an idiot, or
Fake
they don't want to
girl.
help you. Yeah, you have a vagina, sorry. And it's really, I keep saying this, it's sad. And I don't know if I can express it better than that, where women all over, they have been filing reports. They've been talking about the sexual harassment at these events. More recently, they came up with the cosplay is not consent.
True.
Where they're telling you, hey, just because I'm wearing this outfit that may be form-fitting, it does not mean that you can touch my breasts. You can, or, just touch me inappropriately in general. This is a thing that happens everywhere that happens. I want to say that there happens to be women, but some men are, they are sexual predators against other males as well. Right. But this seems to be more than likely happening to women, and especially women of color, because of the fact that we are women of color. People are less likely to believe us, and that's due to racism as well. So she talks about racial diversity too. She says this one instance, a woman came in and her coworker went up to try and help her. She asked, "Do you have any models that look like me?" The lady is Aboriginal. The coworker says, "We only have normal models. I can order you the Noble Savage." The woman leaves and we never see her again.
Ooh, that would have been a broken nose and an assault charge.
Yeah, you have to understand, this is like, there's so many levels to this, especially when it comes to white being the default. If you say that people of color are imagining things, and yet people like this has happened, this is a subliminal message. You guys are taught, white people, if you're listening, you guys are taught that you are the default. Anything other than white is just super different. It's other than.
It's extra. It's, +1.
Right. And
it's ridiculous.
This subliminal message is telling you that it's okay to say we only have normal models, because the picture of you, white people, are considered what is normal. Mm-hmm. And it affects everyone, because people of color have to deal with your shit, and then you have to just spit verbal vomit at us. Embarrassing verbal vomit. So now they've lost a customer because of racism, not so subtle racism.
Yeah.
She tells of another story about a young black man who's in the store, and he's asking her about Pathfinder versus D&D fourth edition. So she tells him, she leads him over to where they have drop-in games. So drop-in games are, where sometimes when you enter a game store and there are people sitting in I guess at a table, and they're playing whatever game they're playing at a time. So he walks in, and the guys in the group at the table, which happened to be all white, said, "What's up, my nigga?"
Nope.
Before she could even apologize, the guy just like, whoop, I'm out of here. So this is another issue that we have to go through as people of color. I have had it happen to me with tabletop games where people say, I didn't know people play black people play board games or tabletop games. It's just, racism is something that is absorbed everywhere, even fantasy world.
And you know what disturbs me about those stories? Because I assume, she's talking about her experiences working in like a game shop or something, and this happening on multiple occasions. It's almost as if they're trying to, they're denying the fact that, gaming is treated, by some people as like a whites only club. But anytime a person of color or a woman comes in there, or a woman of color, they immediately focus on that and make them uncomfortable and say something that makes them turn around and leave. So it seems very purposeful. Like, they're trying to protect their turf. They're not going to turn around to a white guy and be like, hey, what's up, Mayo? Like, that's not going to happen. But they're going to do that to a black person, and they're going to do that to, an Aboriginal woman, or just in general a woman of color, but they're going to be welcoming to their own. And it's like, and people try to say, oh, don't bring, racial politics into gaming. Well, what are they doing? They're literally segregating their little space so that nobody else can even walk in the store and, like, be in their presence. And I'm like, it's very purposeful. Don't go there with, oh, don't bring it into... Okay, then don't bring it into gaming. Don't be racist to people.
Yeah, for them, it's always some sort of political agenda. Some sort of, like, secret master plan to diversify their games, as if it's like a bad thing. And it's odd how they it seems like they are blending their fantasy and real world, because like the way they interact, it's like, how do you think that that's okay? Like, I could see somebody trying to play it off and keep their racism in game, where they make it in a story where it's okay for you to say, what's up, my nigga? But you're just gonna take your fantasy world out and just push it on other people and make it okay for you to call somebody else nigga, like, like that's
Wait,
okay.
do I know you? Don't invite yourself to that. Just don't invite yourself to refer to me as anything other than my name.
Don't fucking do that. It just, like, I don't get what it is. And even if you say it to one person who was like not bothered by it, why try to extend that to everybody? That makes no fucking sense. So
because we can do what we want.
Yeah, pretty much. The last bit of it, this is actually a really tough read, because I could relate to it.
It was rough.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to it. But the last story that kind of stuck out to me was when she talked about in 2017, and she said that she was discussing the comparative merits of Circle Ouroboros versus the Legion of Everblight, and she heard a loud crack and sharp pain in her rear. She understandably screams, and one of the guys in the store area says, "Relax," as a compliment. So she cursed him out, and he says, "Look, you can't play with us if you're going to get emotional over every little thing, the rest of the players nod in agreement. Yeah. Um,
And then
this
she have like a bruise on her ass, like a handprint.
I think she did have a handprint on her ass. She had some finger bruises or something like that.
Yo, somebody would get charged for assault.
It's Here's how the cycle works. So you tell us if something goes down to tell you. But then when we tell you, you don't believe us because what were we wearing? What were we drinking? Who were you with? Well, you shouldn't have did this, or you shouldn't be hanging out with these type of people anyway. You should know better, blah, 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 blah. Or the complaint goes through, people tell others, and they blame you, and they say, well, you guys are forcing these issues. I have never personally heard of this issue. And when they harass the person that is the victim. Now, it's hard for us to tell you anything because, one, who wants to be told that their story is it's fake, or they feel like it's fake.
Right.
Two, all their so-called friends or fellow geeks now turn against you, and they start harassing you and cursing you out and dragging you all over what is now the internet. It's very scary for us. So this whole time, this whole article, one of the reasons why it was so hard to read is because it's not like she did anything wrong. It's not like she waited, I wouldn't say wrong, but like, waited for another person to come out. Because sometimes it's scared to talk about your sexual assault or your rape.
Yeah.
But, she didn't wait. She told right away. She went to the authorities. She did everything that everybody said that you're supposed to do. And they still brushed it off off their shoulders and made it seem like she's wrong for enjoying a hobby that she should be able to enjoy freely.
Which is like the most depressing part. It's like all the examples that she gave, there was like no happy ending, no justice. It's just like, this is the way it is. This is the way men act when they feel like they're in the majority and they feel like they're untouchable. And it's really scary. It's like, what does it say about you guys that you get in these big groups, and when you feel you have strength in numbers, the first fucking thing you do is take advantage of other people. Why?
Of all the things that you could do, of all the things that you can expend your energy on, why would you just say, you know what? The only woman here, I am going to make her feel like she is less than. I'm going to smack her on her ass so hard that it leaves a bruise. And then when she complains about her personal space, her body which she owns, then I'm going to make her feel like she's wrong and like she's making a big deal. Like gaslighting like crazy.
Yeah, like beyond. Oh my god.
These things happen every day. I can tell you right now, at 30 years old, whenever I walk into a game store, you can feel like the tension. It can be cut with a butter knife. They make you seem, oh, can I help you? If it's not one thing where they think that I'm stealing because I'm black, it's another because I happen to be a woman, and they ask me all these questions. Oh, well, are you shopping for someone else? Oh, is your boyfriend gonna play this with you or teach you how to play this? And I'm just like,
it's like, do you want to lose a potential sale? I don't understand. Do you like sabotaging your business?
It is a dangerous world, even for these so-called innocent questions and these I guess the sexist questions like you would in any GameStop, like, oh, have you even played this before, or do you know anything about this? Or they just assume the worst about the situation. It just seems so predatory,
It is. It's like, oh, it's just an innocent question. I'm like, that you always ask the same type of person and never ask anybody else. Like, first of all, it's not your business. If it's for a boyfriend, they'll tell you, hey, can I purchase this as a gift? Give me a gift receipt. Whatever. If someone's going to teach him how to play it, then someone's going to teach him how to play it. unless you're going to go home with them and teach them, it has nothing to do with the sale that you're making. And you throwing that out there is just being completely obnoxious. And this is coming from somebody who has worked in retail. You know, I worked in retail like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, whatever. There are certain things that are not relevant and certain things that are not your business. And, you know, oh, I'm just trying to make a good sale. What exactly does that have to do with the sale? Are you trying to sell them 2 controllers? No. So does it matter who's teaching them or who they're going to play with? And does it have to be a man? Like, it's so easy to deconstruct all the excuses, but they still make them as if anybody other than themselves are believing it. Mini rant.
Yeah. You, you know, yeah, you guys have got to start correcting each other because we can't do all this work for you. There is no way that somebody should be able to recall so many stories of being sexually harassed, doing a hobby, showing love for a hobby of theirs. There's absolutely no reason for this to be happening. You need to be correcting your homeboys. You need to be letting them know, like, hey, don't touch her like that. These are things that decent people do. Be decent. And it's sad that we have to ask you this. Be decent. Correct your homeboy who says, oh, hey little lady, as if they know the person, or, right, you know, assume that she doesn't know what she wants or that she's shopping for somebody else. Correct them.
Yeah, like, stop living the, you know, the standards or the stereotypes that you hate to hear about yourself. Like, oh, how can you say, oh, all men are dogs, or all men are pigs, or all men do this and that and that? It's not all men, or, you know, stereotyping is wrong. It's like, okay, well then stop living it. Because how many times have not only bad things happened to women, other men stood by and just let it happen. It's like, you can't turn every single environment and every single niche and clique and interest into a hostile environment for women and then turn around and be like, well, you can't stereotype all men. Actually, you're making that like, and this is my thing. Don't act like because a woman walks in the room, you gotta treat her a certain way, and then turn around and be like, why would you assume that, you know, men can't control themselves? You know, don't turn around and make a racial comment and then say, oh, it's not right to just assume someone's going to be racist. It's like, you know, from that story, that gentleman didn't get 2 steps in the door before he didn't even say anything to anybody before he got racism thrown at him. And I'm sure that individual had been through that, you know, a million times. And it's like, you keep showing the worst side of yourself, but you consistently want the benefit of the doubt. That is so far from reality. I can't even begin to comprehend why they would bother making that type of argument. It's messed up, and it's not right. And, you know, it's not just about what people think about them and, you know, stereotypes end up being true. It's just, is there any decency at all? Can you congregate and still maintain your decency in gaming or otherwise? Is it possible? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Right. It's really upsetting. Even a couple weeks ago, I went to a game store. Now, this is actually a pretty positive experience. I wasn't the only female there, but you know, it was still like chill because I was kind of nervous. I'm like, okay, who's gonna say something sexist? Because it happens way too often.
Yep.
And that didn't happen, but still, you know how like a whole bunch of guys get together and their testosterone like rises up in the air, and it seems like, you know, they get hypersensitive out of nowhere, like certain things people say.
Oh God, a woman, my masculinity's starting quick. Let's congregate and stare at her butt.
Yeah, they didn't do that, but after a while, you know, they start fighting with each other. I don't know what it is when, you know, a woman walks into a room and then like the testosterone starts flowing. It's really weird. And, you know, I thought that possibly, maybe, I got a little bit too hopeful that was all I had to worry about. You know, like nobody was sexually harassing me. Nobody made me feel like I wasn't supposed to be there, because I was I'm a woman and because I'm black. But little nitpick, petty bullshit that starts fight. That was the only thing that happened. And then I read this article and I'm just like, this shit is still happening from when I first started happening game. I'm 30 fucking years old, and this stuff is still happening. Like, we have to constantly remind you that women are humans. We have feelings. We have ownership of our bodies. And you won't let us have it. It sucks.
Yep. Like, it's... And, you know, when the situation's flipped, most dudes, they can't handle it at all. I mean, some guy comes up to them, you know, just a guy will look at them for too long. Example, the hand brushing on the escalator prank.
Oh, I saw that. That was hilarious.
Just, you know, you tell a woman don't make a big deal if someone, like, touches her ass or slaps her ass or, you know, brushes up against her purposely or something like that. But a guy brushing his hand, which is, you know, just simple, brushing his hand on top of another guy's. And these guys are ready to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you really can't handle what you dish out. Like, you just, not even a fraction of what you dish out. And just, I don't know, that, it's not really about that, but it kind of is at the same time. Because it's like the same stuff that they do to us and then invalidate our reactions. You know, they're ready to come back with a gun and kill somebody over. And I'm like... But we're wrong for getting upset over it. All right.
I mean, I clicked play because once I saw man hand brushing, I said, oh shit, I know what's going to happen now.
Yep.
Like, I know that there are some men that are going to want to fight him. So I watch it. And the way it's done is they have the escalators and the guy, the prankster is going up the elevator and the people that he's going to brush, they're on the other side going down. So this one guy, he barely grazed him, okay? And he looks back at the guy. He doesn't say anything. The guy looks back at him like he wants to jump over an escalator and, like, kill him just for brushing his hand. Like, I'm not the type of person for touch. Like, I don't like everybody touch me. People that I don't know touching me. But I don't get crazy over somebody, like, finger swiping me. And then it progressively got worse. There was a guy who got all the way to the bottom of the escalator afterwards, and he was gonna come up after the guy and, like, really try to hurt him just for, like, brushing his hands. So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, if you cannot handle a hand brush, what in the world would make you think that we would be okay with you touching something like our ass or our breasts? I'm absolutely sure you don't want your sister, even though you should not have to think, oh, I have a sister or I have a mom, I shouldn't be thinking about this.
Right.
You should just be decent and be like, hey, these are other humans and they have feelings too. Maybe I should think about how I would feel. You guys, you need something to happen near and dear to you in order for you to understand it, and it's fucked up. Like, you need for something like that to happen to your sister or your mom or your aunt in order for you to understand that, and there's something wrong with that.
Right. It's like, unless this person is mine in some way, I don't care. And it's really scary. Like, do you understand how, like, if everyone treated each other that way, it would be terrible. If your teachers felt that way, they would be horrible to every other child except for their own. Like, if doctors felt that way, they'd be misdiagnosing or just not even helping people unless it was their, like, that mindset does not work anywhere in any other situation. Why are you trying to apply it?
Because they're lazy.
Yep. Me.
Well, anyway, we are at the end of the show. There are, what? Yeah, we only had 2 game releases for this week, and
it's that came out
yesterday. Yeah, super quiet week. Quantum Break for Xbox One, that came out yesterday.
Yep.
So I don't know. I found some interest in it because I'm always into breaking time. Like, one of my favorite movies is The Matrix. I love the Max Payne game where you kind of did everything in bullet time. And Quantum Break seems to be where they're trying to use different elements of time, maybe fast forward, rewind, whatever. But yeah, that came out yesterday. Then there's Enter the Gungeon. That came out on PS4 and PC yesterday. Oh, and Dirt Rally. That came out yesterday as well PS4.
Oh, dear, really?
Yeah, the PS4 and the Xbox One. So really no super big AAA titles for this week, unless you want to count Quantum Break as that, because I have heard some talk about it, but
Yeah.
nothing too big. And
Nope.
announcements. The only announcement that we have for you guys is that we now have a website.
Woo!
Yeah, I took some time to design it last week, and there you'll be able to find our podcasts, and we will also be posting some blog posts, some articles. We just posted an article up there about I need diverse games, and Cypher, she had a nice little rant this morning
It's
on,
wonderful.
yeah, it was kind of awesome. But yeah, we'll be posting updates on there, of course, events that we will be going to in the future, and that is pretty much it. I feel like, I don't know, I didn't feel like I sat here for a long time. I don't know. Whatever. I just feel,
Definitely shorter than last episode, but I feel like we covered good stuff.
yeah, it feels like it's much shorter. I don't know what happened. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, so yeah,
Slow week.
yeah. Thanks for hanging with us, you guys.
Yep.
We are both on YouTube. Mine is the Grim Phreaker on there. What's yours, Krystle?
Krystle Killjoy, although I've been more active on Twitch, so you can find me on there also by Krystle Killjoy. You can also find the Grim Phreaker on there. Is that correct?
Yes, that is also twitch.com/the Grim Phreaker. Thank you again, you guys, for hanging out with us. We will see you next time. Bye.
See you later.